I'm going to cut right to the chase here. Last weekend, I tried to kill myself. And that's not like me at all. I just went into this psychosis and I was paranoid and said horrible things to a friend of mine. He saved my life because he messaged me as I was really considering going through with it. I was just out of control. I don't recognize myself in that state at all. And the reason it happened was because I forgot to take estrogen. So when I first detransitioned, my periods were a nightmare. I would have these false pregnancies, painful periods. I would be wiped out for days, and yeah, I would go into this psychotic state, mentally unstable, very emotional. It was ruining my life. And of course, I go to a doctor and they try to put me on SSRIs, which are, metabolic disruptors. They can increase your depression and risk of suicide, and also obesity, and also permanent sexual dysfunction. So I have very few joys in my life, but leave me that one. And I said no to those. I did my own research and found the soy-based estrogen cream is actually really good. I've also been taking the raspberry leaf tea, and these are herbal remedies for hormone issues for women. People have been using for a very long time, and they work. There are studies on them, and so phytoestrogens, basically they have the same molecular structure as human estrogen, so the body thinks they're the same. Fun fact: vitamin C and glucose have the same molecular structure. So if you have a lot of glucose in your diet, you have to have a lot more vitamin C. So I don't have a lot of glucose in my diet. I don't need as much vitamin C. Fun little bit of trivia there. But yeah, I would start taking those a week before my period. I always write on my calendar, always keep on top of it. But this time around, I just had so many health issues anyway that I just didn't connect the dots, and then I started losing touch with reality, and then at that point I just wasn't looking after myself properly in terms of my hormones. And in hindsight I go, well, why did I not? Oh, it's a psychosis. You're not in control of your faculties. And this all happened because I was given testosterone. How could I have given informed consent? When I was looking to transition into a man, they didn't say, by the way, this isn't really possible. You won't really look like a man. You look more masculine, but you won't really be a man. You may have false pregnancies. You may, every time you have a period, go into psychosis. When you detransition, it will be a nightmare. You will have long-term immunological and endocrinological problems. Are you aware of it? They never tell you any of this. I didn't really want to transition. If someone really sat me down and explained it all properly, instead of just affirming my whim, if they had sat me down and really talked about it and really talked me through it, I wouldn't be in this situation. So, yeah, I mean, I was really dead set on making myself dead. Just taking some sleeping pills, drinking a bunch of alcohol, hoping I don't wake up again. I really did not have any sort of properly thought through plan. That surprises me. I thought, well, if I was going to die, I would really make sure all my affairs were in order and say goodbye to everyone. No, I basically just took my will out, which doesn't really have too much. I don't own too much stuff. But yeah, I had my will. I took my car keys out. Ivy's keys. I took those keys out and wrote a little note saying, "Take good care of Ivy." And that's it. Oh, and I do not resuscitate sign, hoping that people would actually listen to that and not resuscitate me. And I got a DNR anyway. After I was in the car accident, I made that the living will. So it's a DNR if I'm unlikely to wake up and be functional again. But yeah, I don't want to die. I have so much more I need to do. I've got very important work with detransition, advocacy, and writing my memoir and all that. I'm a very productive, motivated person, but even me, my metabolic health, 100%. I'm very fit. I'm very strong. I'm very healthy, and I still crumbled. I still failed. But I'm very grateful to a friend of mine who contacted me at just the right moment. I was really close to closing in on ending things, and he messaged me. He hadn't talked to me in about 2 days, and he messaged me going, "Hey, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you. It's unusual. We would talk to each other every day." And I just went off at him. I said some really horrible things that were really out of character for me. That I'm just mortified, but I can't go back and read what I said. It's just awful. He's a wonderful man. He does not deserve that, and he stuck around amazingly. Well, I told him, I'm sorry. I woke up the next day. It was just like you wake up from a horrible bender. You have this hangover, and yeah, I just said sorry. I planned to kill myself, and I kind of just wanted him to hate me so that he wouldn't care so much if I was gone. Which it's not even thinking straight. I won't even go into the detail about all the argument, but yeah, I was not thinking straight at all, and that's just hormones. That's all hormones. That's nothing else. I didn't do anything. I wasn't taking any substances. I take care of my body and mind, but my hormones are fucked, and no one can explain why it's like this or how to undo this because I've been poisoned by the medical system, by the people I should have been able to trust. They have poisoned me, and I'll never be the same again. So, at least staying with my friend, and her father is a GP. So when we had a moment in privacy, I said I plan to do this. He took it very seriously. Um, so yeah, my friends and her family and the one who messaged me dealt with the brunt of my psychosis. All these people, they love me, they care about me, and yet when you fall into that state, you don't believe it. So I'm very glad to still be here and have that kind of support. I don't really know, just keeping on top of taking the estrogen and looking into other therapies. Yeah, I see my pain psychologist tomorrow. So I'll mention this all to her and see what the options are, but I really don't think there is going to be a simple solution because there's very little research on taking testosterone. What does that do to a woman's body? I'm living I'm a living experiment. So I'm putting this video out and hoping the people who need to hear it because I'm not going to keep these things private. I mean, yeah, it wasn't my finest hour, and I'm telling the entire world that I was an asshole and wanted to kill myself and said horrible things to one of my best friends. Yeah, I'm going to own it. I'm going to be accountable for my actions, and I'm going to make this better. I'm going to try and make me better, and I'm going to try to stop this happening from anyone else going down this pathway of transitioning and driving themselves insane by taking wrong sex hormones.